Welcome to the Dolphin Tapes. These tapes are my notes and are for reference, not conclusions. Jack Kasowitz. Dolphin versus human brain size. Human brains are smaller, an average of 1,300 to 1,500 grams, than dolphin brains, an average of 1,500 to 1,600 grams. Echolocation and the auditory cortex is huge. Dolphins possess a larger cerebral cortex, the outermost layer responsible for cognitive functions, compared to humans. Their cortex exhibits approximately a 40% greater surface area and is characterized by an abundance of folds, known as gyri and sulci, which enhance their cortical capacity for processing sensory information, particularly sound and echolocation. Other brain regions, prefrontal cortex, hippocampus, are smaller or less developed in dolphins, compared with humans. Size of a dolphin's auditory nerve. Diameter, about twice as thick as the human auditory nerve, the eighth cranial nerve, roughly 2 to 3 times the width of ours. Fiber count. The nerve carries 3 to 5,000 fibers per square millimeter in its central segment, a dense packing that supports rapid transmission of sound info. Overall bulk. In dolphin brain atlases, the vestibulocochlear auditory nerve is as large as the optic nerve and is one of the most prominent cranial nerves, reflecting its crucial role in echolocation. These adaptations give dolphins lightning-fast sound processing for echolocation and communication. How the dolphin's auditory nerve carries sound to the brain. The process starts when an incoming echo, or any underwater sound, vibrates the dolphin's lower jaw and pan bone, which funnels the vibration to the inner ear. From the cochlea, the vestibulocochlear auditory nerve, a thick, heavily myelinated cable about twice the diameter of a human's auditory nerve and packed with 3 to 5,000 fibers per square millimeter, conducts these electrical impulses toward the brainstem. Inside the brainstem, the nerve first synapses in the cochlear nucleus. Then the signal races up through the inferior colliculus, a midbrain hub that's actually 12 times larger in volume than in humans, before reaching the temporal lobe's auditory cortex. Diffusion tensor imaging even shows a direct auditory pathway that also links to the temporal lobe, a layout that's rare among mammals and lets dolphins process echolocation clicks and complex social whistles in parallel. Dolphin visual cortex. It sits in the superior occipital lobe and is made up of 2 distinct cytoarchitectonic zones, a heterolaminar cortex and a homolaminar cortex, each with a different layering pattern. The overall cortical sheet is highly folded, gyrified, and the visual area shows a columnar organization, but with roughly half the column density found in humans. Comparative studies note that, while the dolphin's visual cortex is clearly identifiable, it is relatively modest in size compared to the massive expansion of auditory areas that handle echolocation. Dolphin brain versus human brain. A little more info. Dolphins pack about 12 billion neurons in a brain that's roughly 1.6 kilograms, slightly heavier than the human 1.3 to 1.4 kilogram brain. But humans have a higher brain-to-body mass ratio and the highest encephalization quotient, EQ 7.4, while dolphins come in second, EQ 4 to 5. The dolphin cortex is highly folded, more gyrified than ours, giving it a large surface area, yet its prefrontal cortex is smaller and shifted laterally, and the hippocampus is relatively tiny. Auditory processing dominates the dolphin brain. Its acoustic imaging area is about 10 times larger than the visual area, the opposite of humans. Key structural differences. Neuron count, humans 86 to 100 billion versus dolphins about 12 billion. Cortex, dolphins have a larger, more folded cortex. Humans have a highly developed prefrontal cortex for executive functions. EQ, humans approximately 7.4, dolphins approximately 4 to 5. Specializations, dolphins excel in echolocation and auditory integration. Humans in language, abstract reasoning, and tool use. This brain structure supports some impressive behaviors. Tool use. Dolphins use sponges to protect their noses while foraging. Cooperation. They work together to hunt and play. Empathy. Dolphins seem to understand and respond to each other's emotions. So, in a nutshell, sound, jaw, inner ear, thick, fast auditory nerve, brainstem, inferior colliculus, temporal lobe, and another parallel route, giving dolphins their lightning-quick sonic vision. Dolphin brain wiring is a marvel of aquatic evolution. Dolphins possess a highly folded cerebral cortex, exceeding that of humans, resulting in an extensive surface area for neural connections. Their cerebral cortex is divided into 4 lobes, instead of 3, with all sensory processing concentrated in the additional lobe. This arrangement enables dolphins to make rapid and integrated judgments. Notably, a distinct paralimbic lobe absent in humans handles acoustic information and likely supports their sophisticated echolocation and social communication. Specialized von Economo neurons, VENs, are distributed throughout the cortex, facilitating rapid social decision-making and empathy, akin to the cells that underpin human social bonding. The brain also exhibits extensive cross-modal integration, where visual and echolocation areas communicate, enabling dolphins to perceive through sound and process shape information in both modalities. The brain's connectivity is enhanced by an extensive network of neural pathways that interconnect the cortex, limbic system, and cerebellum. Magnetic resonance imaging (MRI) atlases expose a comprehensive web of white matter tracks that facilitate rapid parallel processing of social cues, intricate vocalizations, and spatial navigation. Each cerebral hemisphere can function to some extent independently, each with its own blood supply, which may facilitate multitasking during activities such as swimming and echolocation. This extensive wiring results in a brain designed for intricate societies, technological proficiency, and adaptable problem-solving, an authentic underwater supercomputer. Key areas of the brain and their role in dolphins. The insular cortex, or insula, is a fascinating part of the brain that's drawing a lot of attention in neuroscience. And its role in dolphins is particularly intriguing given their complex social and emotional lives. In general, across mammals, the insula is recognized as a crucial hub for integrating various types of information. And these functions likely extend to dolphins. Interoception, internal body awareness. The insula is key to processing internal bodily sensations like hunger, thirst, heart rate, and temperature. For a dolphin living in a dynamic aquatic environment, precisely monitoring these internal states is vital for survival, thermoregulation, and managing physiological changes during deep dives. Emotional processing. The insula is deeply involved in processing emotions such as disgust, anger, happiness, and sadness. It plays a role in generating subjective feelings and connecting those feelings to bodily sensations. Dolphins exhibit a wide range of emotions, from joy and playfulness to grief and distress, and the insula would be a central player in these experiences. Empathy and social cognition. In humans, the insula is strongly linked to empathy, allowing us to understand and share the feelings of others. Given the sophisticated social structures, cooperative behaviors, and apparent empathy observed in dolphins, e.g., caring for injured pod members, it's highly probable that their insula contributes significantly to these advanced social cognitive abilities. In fact, some research suggests that large-brained cetaceans like orcas and dolphins have a highly elaborated insular cortex, which might underpin their advanced emotional processing, social bonding, and empathy. Decision-making and risk assessment. The insula integrates sensory, emotional, and cognitive information to inform decision-making, especially in uncertain or risky situations. For dolphins navigating complex environments, hunting cooperatively, or avoiding predators, the insula would be critical for quickly assessing situations and making adaptive choices. Essentially, the insula in dolphins is likely a vital component that allows them to feel their bodies, experience and interpret emotions, and engage in the complex social interactions that characterize their species. The anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, is an interesting brain region, and its role in dolphins is believed to be quite significant, particularly given their high intelligence and complex social behaviors. In general, the ACC in mammals is involved in emotion regulation, helping to process and manage emotional responses, decision-making, especially when a decision involves conflicting information or requires effort, cognitive control, focusing attention and inhibiting irrelevant information, error detection, noticing when mistakes are made and adjusting behavior, pain perception, both physical and emotional pain, social cognition, processing social information, understanding the intentions of others, and empathy. For dolphins, a highly social species that exhibits complex cooperation, communication, and emotional depth, the ACC would likely play a crucial role in social interactions, enabling them to navigate intricate social hierarchies, cooperate in hunts, and form strong, lasting bonds. Their ability to recognize individuals and even grieve for lost pod members points to advanced social processing where the ACC would be involved. Emotional responses, helping them manage their emotional states, whether it's the joy of play or the distress of a threat. Communication, regulating their diverse vocalizations and understanding the complex information conveyed through them. learning and problem solving. Their known intelligence, adaptability, and capacity for novel problem solving would rely on the ACC's role in cognitive control and decision making. While direct, detailed studies of the dolphin ACC are still emerging, it's hard to study living dolphin brains. The presence of a well-developed ACC, along with specialized neurons like von Economo neurons, which are found in the ACC of dolphins, humans, and great apes, strongly suggests it underpins many of the advanced cognitive and emotional capacities we observe in these incredible marine mammals. The amygdala is a central structure in the brains of many animals, including dolphins, and it plays a critical role in processing emotions, particularly those related to fear, threat detection, and emotional memory. Here's what its role in dolphins entails: emotional processing and response. The amygdala is a key component of the limbic system, which is the brain's emotional center. In dolphins, it's involved in processing strong emotions like fear, anxiety, and potentially aggression. This helps them respond appropriately to threats in their environment, such as predators or unfamiliar situations. Survival instincts. The amygdala is essential for fight or flight responses. It quickly assesses environmental cues for danger and triggers physiological and behavioral reactions to ensure survival. For a dolphin in the wild, this means rapidly reacting to a shark, navigating dangerous waters, or making split-second decisions during a hunt. Emotional learning and memory. The amygdala also plays a significant role in emotional learning and the formation of memories associated with emotional events. This allows dolphins to remember dangerous situations or individuals, as well as rewarding experiences, helping them adapt their behavior over time. Complex auditory information processing. Interestingly, research on the amygdala in dolphins and other cetaceans suggests it might have specialized adaptations related to their highly developed acoustic abilities. Some studies hypothesize that the unusually enlarged amygdala in dolphins might be linked to processing complex auditory information, which is vital for their echolocation, communication, and overall perception of their underwater world. The amygdala's structure in dolphins is like that of primates, suggesting a potential for convergent neuroanatomical organization related to emotional information processing, especially regarding responses to fear and anxiety. Its proper functioning is crucial for their survival and their intricate emotional and social lives. The prefrontal cortex, PFC, in dolphins is a fascinating area of study because it's associated with many of the advanced cognitive abilities for which dolphins are famous. While its exact topography doesn't perfectly match humans due to their unique brain evolution, recent research is shedding light on its significant role. Here's what the prefrontal cortex is thought to contribute to a dolphin's life. Executive functions. In humans, the PFC is the seat of executive functions, which include planning, decision-making, problem-solving, working memory, and behavioral inhibition. Dolphins exhibit many of these complex behaviors, such as cooperative hunting strategies, using tools like sponges to protect their snouts, and understanding complex commands. It's believed that a well-developed PFC underpins these abilities. Social cognition. Dolphins have incredibly intricate social structures, forming long-lasting bonds and engaging in sophisticated communication. The PFC is crucial for processing social cues, understanding the intentions of others, and regulating social behavior, all of which are essential for navigating their complex social world. Self-awareness. Dolphins are among the few species that have passed the mirror self-recognition test, indicating a degree of self-awareness. The PFC is often implicated in higher-order cognitive functions like self-awareness, adaptation, and flexibility. The aquatic environment presents unique challenges, and dolphins demonstrate remarkable adaptability and the ability to learn and apply new skills. The PFC's role in cognitive flexibility and learning from experience would be vital for this. While the dolphin brain has evolved differently from the human brain, for instance, the dolphin PFC appears to be shifted sideways compared to the human PFC due to brain shape and size, recent tractography studies show that the connectivity patterns of the dolphin PFC are remarkably similar to those in the human brain. This suggests that despite anatomical differences, it performs functionally homologous roles related to higher brain functions. The limbic system in mammals is a complex network of brain structures, including the amygdala, hippocampus, and parts of the cingulate cortex, which we've talked about already, that works together to control emotions, processing and experiencing feelings like joy, fear, anger, and affection. Motivation, driving behaviors related to survival, reproduction, and social interaction. Memory, especially memories with a strong emotional component. Social behavior, forming bonds, recognizing others, and navigating social dynamics. Intense emotional experiences. It's the core system that allows them to experience the wide range of emotions we discussed earlier, from the deep grief they show for lost pod members to the exuberant joy in their play. Strong social bonds. Their capacity for forming complex and long-lasting social relationships within their pods, and even displaying empathy and altruism towards others, is heavily dependent on their limbic system. It helps them bond, feel connected, and respond to the emotional states of their companions. Motivation for play and cooperation. The reward pathways within the limbic system drive their motivation for play, exploration, and the intricate cooperative behaviors, like hunting, that are hallmarks of dolphin intelligence. So, the limbic system is essentially the heart of a dolphin's emotional intelligence and social sophistication, allowing them to navigate their world with deep feelings and complex relationships. The parietal cortex in dolphins, much like in other complex-brained mammals, is crucial for how they perceive and interact with their world, especially when it comes to spatial awareness and integrating sensory information. Spatial awareness and navigation. Dolphins live in a 3D underwater environment, and their ability to navigate efficiently, hunt cooperatively, and understand their surroundings is paramount. The parietal cortex is heavily involved in processing spatial information, creating mental maps, and guiding movements in space. This would be essential for their incredible navigation skills, whether echolocating in murky waters or swimming at high speeds. Somatosensory processing. This area of the brain processes sensory input from the body, including touch, pressure, and proprioception, the sense of your body's position in space. While dolphins don't have hands like humans, their entire body is a sensory organ in the water, highly sensitive to pressure changes and currents. The parietal cortex would be vital for interpreting these tactile sensations, both for communication and for understanding their physical interaction with the water and other objects. Integration of sensory information. The parietal cortex acts as a hub, integrating information from various senses, like their highly developed auditory system for echolocation and tactile feedback, to create a comprehensive understanding of their environment. This integration is critical for their decision-making and problem-solving. Action planning and coordination. It helps bridge sensation and action. The parietal cortex contributes to planning and coordinating movements based on sensory input, which is crucial for a dolphin's agile swimming, acrobatic leaps, and precise hunting maneuvers. Given their reliance on echolocation, essentially seeing with sound, and their highly tactile life in water, the parietal cortex in dolphins would be uniquely adapted to process this information, helping them form a rich, multidimensional perception of their complex marine world. That's a super interesting question about dolphin brains. It turns out their frontal lobes are a bit different from ours, leading to some cool insights into how their intelligence works. Frontal lobes, different brain structure. Unlike humans, where the frontal cortex is crucial for self-recognition, dolphins have a relatively small frontal lobe. Instead, they seem to rely more on their highly developed temporal and parietal areas for complex cognitive tasks. Prefrontal cortex location. While initially thought to be absent in the expected frontal area, recent studies using MRI have identified a prefrontal cortex (PFC) in bottlenose dolphins. It's located more laterally due to the unique evolutionary shaping of their brain. This PFC shows similar connectivity patterns to the human PFC, suggesting it plays a role in higher functions like planning and executive tasks. Advanced cognition despite differences. Dolphins display remarkable cognitive abilities, including self-awareness, passing the mirror test, complex problem-solving, tool use, and sophisticated communication. These behaviors point to advanced intelligence, even if the brain regions responsible aren't organized exactly like a human's. Social and emotional intelligence. Dolphins have an extra lobe in their limbic system, a paralimbic region, which may contribute to their intense social processing, strong alliances, and emotional depth. This area, along with dense spindle neurons, underpins their advanced emotional processing, social bonding, and empathy. So, while their frontal lobes might not be as prominent as ours, dolphins have evolved a unique brain architecture that supports their incredible intelligence and complex social lives. Hippocampus navigation whiz. Their hippocampus is like an internal GPS, helping them create and recall mental maps of the ocean. This lets them remember where good fishing spots are and find their way across vast distances. Memory maestro. It also plays a key role in their impressive memory, allowing them to remember other dolphins and even specific calls, kind of like remembering names and voices. Unique structure. While it serves similar functions to ours, the dolphin's hippocampus is tear-shaped and relatively small compared to its overall brain size. Their evolutionary path, especially losing their sense of smell, likely shaped its development. Other parts of their brain have become more important for tasks like navigation. The cerebral cortex in dolphins is incredible and plays a huge role in their advanced intelligence and complex behaviors. Super convoluted surface. Dolphin cerebral cortices are highly convoluted, meaning they have a lot more folds and ridges than even human brains. This increases the surface area for neural processing, allowing them to process tons of information. Complex cognition. This extensive surface area supports a wide range of higher cognitive functions, including problem-solving, learning new skills, adapting to new situations, and even exhibiting self-awareness. They can recognize themselves in mirrors, which is a pretty rare trait in the animal kingdom. Social and emotional intelligence. Dolphins have a well-developed paralimbic system, an extra lobe not found in most other mammals, which contributes to complex emotional processing and social cognition. This helps them form intricate social structures, recognize individuals through unique signature whistles, and display empathy and altruistic behaviors. Echolocation mastery. Their cerebral cortex is essential for processing the complex auditory information they get from echolocation, which they use to navigate, hunt, and perceive their environment in 3D. Unique sleep patterns. The cerebral cortex also allows for unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, USWS, where one half of their brain sleeps while the other remains active. This unique adaptation lets them continue swimming, surfacing for air, and staying vigilant for predators even while resting. Even though human brains have a higher encephalization quotient, EQ, dolphins are right up there with us, showcasing how much their big, complex brains help them thrive in their unique aquatic world. The auditory cortex in dolphins is incredibly specialized and plays a central role in their ability to perceive and interpret sound, which is vital for their survival and interaction in the ocean. Here's why it's such a big deal for them. Echolocation hub. This is where the magic of echolocation happens. The auditory cortex processes the returning echoes from the high-frequency clicks dolphins emit. It allows them to create a detailed 3D mental map of their surroundings, including the distance, size, shape, and even internal structure of objects, even in murky or dark waters. They can even distinguish between different materials using sound alone. Highly developed for sound. Dolphins have exceptional hearing abilities, far beyond what humans can perceive, reaching frequencies up to 160 kHz. Their auditory nerve is significantly larger than a human's, which means faster sound processing. This sophisticated auditory system is crucial for their survival, allowing them to navigate, find prey, and communicate in their underwater environment. Complex communication. Beyond echolocation, the auditory cortex is involved in processing the diverse vocalizations dolphins use to communicate, including whistles and burst pulses. They use signature whistles that function similarly to names, enabling individual identification within their pods. Unique structure. The auditory cortex of dolphins has a distinct cytoarchitecture compared to terrestrial mammals, adapted for their aquatic lifestyle. Research has even shown age-related changes in the primary auditory cortex of dolphins, indicating ongoing development and potential for changes in acoustic acuity throughout their lives. Get ready for a mind-blowing fact about dolphin hearing. Their auditory nerve is seriously impressive compared to ours. Double the diameter. The dolphin's auditory nerve, which connects the inner ear to the brainstem, is about twice the diameter of the human eighth nerve. Triple the supply. Not only is it thicker, but the dolphin's auditory nerve supply is also about 3 times that of humans. This incredible difference in size and supply allows for much more rapid sound processing and enables dolphins to receive significantly more ultrasonic information. It's a key adaptation for their echolocation abilities and their highly developed sense of hearing, which is essential for their survival and communication in the underwater world. Thank you for listening to Dolphin Tape 005 on dolphin brains versus human brains. For further information, go to www.speakdolphin.com or contact me at speakdolphin@mac.com. Let's keep learning together. Jack Kasowitz.